Imagine a place with no sight or sound. That is where the Storm in a Teacup has been. Man, we are back, kind of. We are 3/4 back. We've got Taylor in Chicago. We've got Forrest in Maryville, and then I am recording solo from my bedroom right now, which feels so weird, but also feels so right because I'm recording naked.
Are you on the waterbed, Grant?
With Cheetos sprinkled all around me, I'm on the waterbed.
I would expect nothing less.
So, listeners, it's been a long time, and we have a lot of good stories to tell from our time away. We were actually in a Chinese prison for a couple years, and then a man named Henry Ducard came and rescued us and taught us the ways of fighting, and now we're back. Well, at least 3 of us are back. The 4th, Caleb, is still over there learning the ways.
Lost a lot of good men out there, Grant. Lost a lot of good men. Mainly just Caleb.
That we did. So that was what? That was Ra Al Ghul.
Raz Al Ghul.
Raz. There it is. Yeah, I was mispronouncing his name all month while we were over there. So yeah, we learned a lot. We lost a lot of good men out there, but I guess now we're back more or less. Forrest, what did you think of our time away?
Wait, we were away?
How many kids did you produce while we were away?
1 month. How many kids?
2.3.
So you've hit the American average in 1 month.
I actually just bought some white paint for the fence out back, so living the American dream, man.
No black paint for the fence, Forrest?
Not yet.
Interesting.
Maxie likes white.
Isn't the American average of kids, though, isn't it like 2.3 kids or something like that? So, like, you're going to have to, like, chop 0.7 off of that one kid.
George is currently going through the Agogi, so we'll see if he comes out the other end all right on this one.
Is he going to be... Are you going to teach him to steal and then punish him if you catch him?
I don't know. I don't want to teach him how to steal, that's a dishonest trade.
But that's how you live.
For survival.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Okay.
Survival skills. Not from you, from your neighbors in mean streets of Maryville.
And the less than human helots that live down the road that everyone owns.
Yeah, they live in the county, dog. They don't live in Maryville City. They live in Blount County. We don't talk about them.
The Spartan system actually transferred right out there to Maryville, and no one knew.
It's actually a cookie cutter. Like, basically, Sparta just closed up shop and moved to East Tennessee.
They're boy lovers, like the Athenians.
You're talking about the county. They are boy lovers.
The county.
Yeah.
No, West Knoxville. They are boy lovers. So, Brandon Bergen's already texted me and said our fact-checking incorrect. The United States average is 2.01 children born per woman. That's the 2014 estimated average.
What the crap? How come nobody told me we were going live? I thought we were just recording.
Yeah. So, how about that?
Brandon knows.
That's a hashtag, Brandon knows. So, it's Sunday of CrossFit Games week or weekend, I guess. And I don't know anything that's happened so far on Sunday. Do you guys want to, we've lost Caleb, so I have no way I don't understand how to attack subject matter anymore because no one's there to lay it out for us. I guess we talk about from the beginning. We talk about Rich Froning's best ever finish in a first event.
In the beginning, God created Rich Froning, and it was good, and he continued to dominate and do what he does best, except for run, because he doesn't run very well.
And there's a lot of running.
That's been proven. A lot of running, a lot of gymnastics. But
let me ask you this, Taylor. Is Rich Froning the most embarrassing elite CrossFit athlete, like running, that you've ever seen?
No, Jason Khalipa is by far.
Oh, man, I don't know. Watching Froning have to walk... It was pretty embarrassing.
Okay, all right. He walked, but Jason Khalipa has a running coach, and his run is still like
his running coach is actually Rich Froning.
It has to be. There's no other explanation for the things that he did. I mean, did you watch the Muscle Up Biathlon and see him do his penalty 200 that took him the same time as like the average CrossFitter's 400? Like it was brutal. Like you know I'm not a Kalipa fan, but like I felt bad at that point. Like it was yeah.
Man, no joke though. What's Forte's first name? Rob Forte?
Yeah.
Robert Forte, Jordan Troyan.
Like Trojan, the thing that I'm allergic to.
We all know well.
Also Tuna Cliff, and then the girl that beat her right there at the end in the sprint. Man, beautiful running form. But it really fell off after that. There are some terrible runners in CrossFit, which is funny. Like, and not enough of them, I guess, are getting running coaches. Like, they're taking it for granted. Running is so important at the games.
I think the problem is like, you throw those 3K, like that 3K run in there, and like, fortunately or unfortunately, like, that's one event, and Rich knows that that's like, I mean, in the big scheme of things, like it hasn't really affected those top tier athletes, those athletes that aren't Nate Schrader, and kept them from winning or being in the top 5. Like, I think if you look at all the like top 5 right now, like I don't think any of them really finished in like, I mean, maybe one of them finished in the top 20 on that. Like none of them really did well on that event. So if it doesn't really affect the outcome, why would you take the time when you have to train so much else? Like, gymnastics, like the muscle ups have been so important, and the handstand push-ups have been so important, and just like that overall shoulder strength. The 400-meter runs in the Muscle Up Biathlon were really just kind of a rest. Like they could pace their way through that. I mean, yeah, it sucked. Like they had to go up that hill or whatever, but you can pace your way through that. I mean, it hasn't. I don't see it really affecting the outcome of the games at all. I mean, you guys can agree with me or disagree with me. I don't know.
It could. It would have until Olsen has he had that bad 23rd finish in the clean. But I mean, Olsen's done well on the runs, and he was sitting pretty until yesterday.
Yeah, until that one event.
Yeah.
But the cleans and the speed cleans and all that stuff just takes out those people that are really good runners.
Let me ask you this question, Taylor, right, and Grant, hop in on it. Does seeing that this games has been a little bit more oriented towards the run than previous games, does this still prove that strength is the most important thing for the games? Like being strong is better than being fast or a great runner or a good rower or what have you?
I think you have to redefine what strength is, because
just absolute power.
No, I don't think that's the most important thing anymore. I think it has been for a while. I think the last like 3 games really, you look at Rich, and the main reason you see him pulling away in at least last games and this games is just is like overall shoulder strength and stability, overall hip strength and stability. It's not just like pure raw strength, but just being able to do
technique,
being strong in a lot of different modalities, because he can rep through handstand push-ups, he can handstand walk, he can clean and jerk, he can snatch, he can do muscle ups for days, all those things. I mean, so yeah, like you can't do any of those things without strength, but it's not like a pure 1 rep max type strength. I mean, I think if that was the case, I think Jeff Evans and Neil Maddox wouldn't be sitting in like 35th place and be done right now.
Yeah,
so
I would tend to agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I guess glancing at the leaderboard, the top 5, Rich was really the only one that bombed it. The 333, that is. I mean, Frazier and Hackenbrook were middle of the pack for Frazier, high middle for Hackenbrook, and then Bridges and Olsen, I mean, 5th and 6th respectively. So really, other than Rich, I mean, that everyone did pretty well in that. Rich really had to battle back after taking that hit.
Well, he knows he's going to hit firsts and seconds and thirds, through all that other stuff. I mean, as long as it doesn't have a long run in it, he's fine. He's more than fine. He's the best. He's the best in there is, pretty much. So, I mean, again, he knows he can't run. He's said it a million times, and I just think he doesn't care because he knows he can come back from it. And maybe that's why, he's going to retire, is because he's like, hey, I can't start running. I don't want to do that. I'm going to just retire instead.
I'm too far gone. There's no way I can start running now.
Right, exactly. Who knows?
Shit. Sorry. I'm watching the games, man, and Spewer just dropped he was going for the overhead squats. He cleaned, put it on his back, and it slipped off his back. Dumbass isn't wearing a shirt. Why would you not wear a shirt for this? Killing me, Spiel. Yeah. No,
and twice. So yeah, I don't want to get too off topic with the live events, although I know all three of us are probably watching it. Going back through, what have you thought about the programming so far, Forrest, that we know for the games?
Man, Taylor and I are going to say the same thing. Like, when I look at the events, nothing like sticks out in my head. It's not like I see anything wrong with it. I'm like, oh man, you've got the runs, you've got your muscle ups, you've got your swimming, your rowing, double unders, everything's there, but something just seems off, and I don't know what it is. And Taylor and I were talking, and it's just like, for instance, this event that we're watching right now, the Thick and Quick. They've got 3 reps of a 245-pound overhead squat.
Did you say the Thick and Quick? Is that what you said?
That's what it's called, Thick and Quick. So, it's a pretty heavy overhead squat, and we've already tested like a 1-rep max overhead squat. So, I don't know, there's something funny about that. Seeing
Forrest, I think we should start a segment of like that remember old Deion Sanders? Come on, man.
No, that was...
And our come on, man moment of the game so far is naming the last workout the Thick and Quick. And
that was Chris Carter, man.
Not thinking everyone's going to make a sexual innuendo out of it. My bad. Chris Carter.
Carter. That was CC.
Come on, Chris Carter played for the Vikings, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right, Grant.
Nailed
Dude,
it.
You're killing it.
Nailed it.
You're killing it. Have you seen your boy Johnny Manziel? He's getting on the Twitter sphere and getting himself in trouble.
I saw him throw a football through the window of a moving Nissan. Is that good?
Yeah, no, I think that's the type of personality you want as your starting QB in the NFL. Dude.
He's a franchise guy. I love him for the franchise. It's great for us.
What do you think about the programming, Grant? I feel like you, having asked that question.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't really leading anywhere. Actually, you go ahead, Taylor. Forrest lumped you with him for better or for worse. What did you think so far?
Oh man, I agree. I don't. Maybe in a couple weeks when I have had time to just obsess over what happened in the games and everything, I'll have a better analysis of, or maybe I'll ask Brandon to do a spreadsheet.
There you go.
Of the games, and I'll be able to say this was missing, that was missing. Why did they program it this way? Why did they program it that way? But I would say right now, on paper, I don't think I've seen, I think they're doing a decent job of kind of checking the boxes for they have a long event, they have a short event, they have a long run, they have a row, they have a swim, they have a short sprint carrying stuff, they have this, they have that, but something just seems off. I agree with Forrest. And not just, and I don't know if it's because of the names that I'm seeing up near the top, a lot of people that you're like, who the hell is that? There's a couple of strong rookies. I'm not a fan of this person, but I think some of you guys are. Noah Olsen, and I truly thought he would do pretty well. I think he has the background for it. And I thought Matt Fraser would do well. I knew he would. I really felt like he's very strong and in all the right ways. And he's just both those guys are just new to the sport, but they've been, on people's radars for a while. I don't think, if you're a real diehard follower of the CrossFit community, I don't think either one of those is a huge surprise. But some of the names that you see in like the top 10, top 15, you're like, what man? What is that guy doing there? Like Nate Schrader, like what is he doing there? You know, what's Hobart doing in there?
I don't know, man. It's so weird. Is like there's so many events. Is there something that they missed? I mean, I guess a couple years ago we had that oddball event with the softball toss and the L sets, and that was kind of different. And there hasn't been anything like that per se. So you could easily say that they missed that. But this is still, I would consider this to be a somewhat gymnastics oriented CrossFit Games. Can I say that? I mean, I don't want to say it because there's been so many events, and I mean they're doing 60 clean and jerks right now.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's just because there's so many events now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I feel like things are it's just gotten, I don't know, almost out of hand. Like, you know, like Kara Webb, she just completely bombed out on the midline March one, which I thought was actually a great workout. Like that's actually, I mean, it's terrible. Like I would hate to do it, but it's actually a very creative workout. But she completely bombed out of that, and she dropped like a spot. Like, and I mean, when I say bombed, I mean she did not finish. Like she probably got close to last place in that workout, and she dropped from first to fourth, and not a distant fourth. Like she's still in contention to podium.
Yeah,
she did pretty awful with the handstand push-up too, right?
She did.
Yeah, she's bombed a couple of workouts.
But I mean, I think that doesn't speak so much to the program. I mean, that just speaks to how it's shaken out on the women's end over there. I mean, she's got a freaking, like, she's top 5 in like 5 events. No, I'm sorry, 6 events.
Yeah, well, actually, she's withdrawn. I clicked over the leaderboard, and she's actually withdrawn from the final.
Yeah, I think she messed up her back and or neck. Like it looked like she really effed something up because that's
a shame.
That doesn't surprise me. It's unfortunate.
I don't know.
But yeah, like I mean, but how many tests? I mean, I guess this is leads into a different question, which is how many tests should there be? And how many can you have too many tests of fitness in one weekend?
I want Grant to answer that. So I want Grant to answer that right there.
Okay, so I think that's an interesting question. Like the problem you run into is fitness is still that. I mean, it's not totally undefined. I mean, CrossFit has given you a definition, but it's still kind of tough to test. Maybe
amorphous.
But in order to push these men and women to their kind of physical limits, we just had to keep adding volume every year. I mean, if these people did a day of their training now is basically what the 2009 CrossFit Games was. I mean, they do that in a single day of training.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, the stuff, as we keep building these athletes up, I think the tests do become harder, one, and more numerous, two. I can't find too much at fault with the programming this year. I think it's been fun, first off, which I think CrossFit has lacked in recent past. Some workouts can be very difficult to watch, and I mean there were some workouts that were very difficult to watch on this one as well. But I mean even the 333 where they just sat on an erg for 10 to 12 minutes and then did double unders and then ran, the production value, and I guess this is getting a little out of the programming realm, but the production value of the games have just gone up so much. Maybe we can thank Grid in PGL for that, which, man, we haven't even talked about how NPFL is now NPGL, and we've been gone for too long. We'll
just record every night this week.
I think that the test is adequate this year. I don't think it is overly wrought. I don't think there's too much going on. I think it was a well-balanced event, games this year. I'm really happy with it, honestly. And
well, let me ask you this though. If I look across the board, and this is just from my perspective, I see the sprint sled 1, the sprint sled 2, and then the sprint carry. Does that not seem a little excessive? I mean, are we not testing something? yeah, the sled was only 95 pounds and the carry was a little bit heavier. But can we not do something to kind of maybe combine those? It just seems like maybe a waste of an event or two events there.
Yeah, but then what do you replace it with? Like, you replace it with more barbell work, and then I hear you complaining about all the barbell work. Like, I think
Grant,
no matter,
I would never complain about barbell work.
No matter
barbell.
135 snatches for reps.
Yeah,
force is there.
Why can't we see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that no matter what comes out every year, you can look at it and say they could have done this, they could have done that. Like, it's a pretty well balanced test this year, and it's fun. I mean, those events were fun. The clean speed ladder, that reminded me a little bit of grid. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at how they've laid it out this year, and they've laid out the floor differently, and they've laid out the events that they're more easy to follow and visualize, and they've got different rigs, and they've got all this different stuff. I mean, if you try to tell me that the Grid League and their setup has not affected how CrossFit presents the CrossFit Games and presents, this whole thing, then I will come and slap you in the face because you're delusional. I mean, it's definitely, and in a good, and it's just how competition breeds, breeds better things. I mean, I think everything coming out of it's good. Like, that competition can't help but make it better, and I think you're already seeing that with the games this year. I think the events have been more entertaining, and I think they've been easier to visualize and easier to follow and all that. Now, that being said, Grant, I think you and I both know that the CrossFit media department has a lot of work to do with the production value.
I did go too far in my approbation of the production value. While they have done a much, I guess that shows where they had to come from, because they've done a much better job this year, but man, do they leave a lot to be desired. I mean, we're talking mics cutting out during interviews. We're talking about coming back from a commercial break to like a camera that's on like a crew member winding up cord to you hear I came back once and it was
it was a chick. It was a chick. I was like, "Hey, are we live? Are we recording?"
It was the girl who won in 2008. What's her name? Wagner. Tanya Wagner was talking to Sean, whatever his name is, and they were like, she's like, yeah, like I think we should really talk about this and that, and then they're like, hey, you're on the air, and she's like, we're live, like, oh, like turn that light off, like click that, and you're like, what? Like, are you kidding right now? Is this a joke?
Yeah, I mean, there was that. There was the commentators were actually like announcing, not announcing, but I guess the workout was going on, and they were doing their announcing and all that. And in the background, for a good solid 2.5 minutes, you hear the recorded voice of the guy explaining the workout.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Of Rory, I was like I was clicking through my computer being like, where is Rory? Why is he on right now? Like trying to mute him. And then I finally muted the actual thing and I realized, oh, they are screwing something up.
I love that so much because I did the same thing. I looked through all my tabs because in Chrome it'll show you like a speaker icon for whatever tab is playing music. And I did a quick glance. I was like, I don't understand. Like, where is he coming from? Do I have another browser open?
I had just reloaded the leaderboard, and I was like, did they put a video on the leaderboard of him explaining workouts? Because I don't know. I didn't have another explanation. I was completely bamboozled. But then when you get, and then the other thing is, and I think I told you this, they need to just like bite the bullet and get some like professional commentators to take part, as well as people who are CrossFitters, because like when it comes to like talking about strategy for a workout or something, yeah, the commentary is decent. It's pretty good because they understand strategy. They've all competed. But man, when they are left out and on their own to just get people excited and make statements, they do so poorly. Like that Sean guy has said the same thing, like every single time at the end of a workout. And he's like, man, she or he is just giving it all they got out there. Like that's what he says every single time. That's all he's got. He's got one line. That's it. And Grundler said, "This is turning into a real chess race." Earlier,
man.
and I was like,
So
I don't.
bad.
Number one, chess isn't a race. You take your time, so that would be the opposite of what you want.
Maybe he was
Secondly,
talking
chess
about
doesn't race.
chess boxing.
Is
Yeah.
that a race though? Is that what? Is a
Chess-
chess boxing a race?
Chess beer mile-ing, maybe. I don't know.
That's possible.
I don't know. Yeah, Wagner. While we're on this tangent, Wagner also said was talking about someone having a soccer background and was like, "Yeah, in soccer you have to use your legs for 60 minutes," and I'm like, 60 minutes? Maybe at like the U9 level, like under nines. What?
Wow. Wow.
So that was fun. Well, let me ask you this: one of our listeners was being kind enough, even after our 4 or 5 week, however long it was, absence, was still sending us in questions and things that that he or she, I won't name any names or sexes here, but wanted us to cover.
Was it Dave Parmley?
It was Dave
Be
Parmley.
honest.
It was Dave Parmley. Things that he wanted us to cover on the podcast, and he asked a good question that I think we can all speak to, except Forrest, because he's never competed at the regionals level like Taylor and I have.
Wait, when the hell did you compete at the regional? Alternates don't count.
Hey, Forrest,
he
I'm
competed
I'm a
in
2-year.
2011.
A 2-year regionals athlete plus an alternate on a 3rd year. Come at me. Come at me.
What event did you compete in?
Every
He did them all in
event.
2010. He was there in 2010 for sure. Except I don't think you had to do anything the last day because it was just me and Brandon. Somehow you wiggled out of like all the Sunday events.
Actually,
2010.
you know what? I do not remember what I did on Sunday. You might be right, because you guys did the row, thank God, and then you did that
and then
one with the farmer's carry.
It was like 800 cleans and 800 push presses and then a farmer's carry.
Yeah.
A farmer's carry run. And I remember getting through, like when I was on the run, I was just like, why am I out here for this? Like, this is not something I should be involved in.
No,
But
but thank goodness you were. And then the next, so that was the original. That was the first year they ever did regionals. And then the next year, we had one of our people drop out, so I had to take his spot, and I put the team on my back during the handstand push-up workout because Brandon Bergen's not doing handstand push-ups.
Brandon, I just remember leading into it, Brandon was like, man, I'm going to rep out like sets of 5. And then like I remember we got there and I was watching you guys and it was like, he did like 2. And then on the first round, and then after that it was singles. And he's like, I don't have any more. I'm done.
I'm going big today, guys. I'm going triples.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Kirsten out handstand push-upped him during that event. So
I remember you just turning around at one point and him being like, I don't have anything. And you were just like, God, like do something.
Yeah, I remember like just pushing him out of the way, like, Brandon, here, hold my snow cone. Let me hit these. So yeah.
Regionals used to be really serious, guys. Really serious.
So the question was, and you know, the team events, the team competition has wrapped up. It was Invictus that won the affiliate cup. Which what are you like? Are you a are you now a big fan of Invictus because you follow the main site programming?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta cheer for somebody, dude. Like I got
That's fair. I was cheering for Maximus. You know, they've always been nice to us. So I was.
I cheer for Max. I cheer for Maximus too. Yeah, absolutely. I try to cheer for teams that I have some knowledge of.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard, however, to cheer for Maximus when they're like down in like 20th place. I mean, you gotta.
Well, they were up in 8th at the end of like day 1, and then they just they dropped quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean they started really well. They had like a 5th and a 2nd, maybe another 5th place finish. But so Invictus wrapped it up. Conjugate made a big run to come back on this on the kind of the final day really. I mean 1st and 2nd. Yeah, I see that now. So you know, the listener was asking, what would it mean for a gym to send a team to the CrossFit Games? And then there's 2 more follow-up questions, but let's start with that. Forrest, you are the proud owner of a home gym. What would it mean for you to send the home gym to regionals as a team?
CrossFit 2 for 2.
Wait, who's my teammate? Have I got Maxie? Have I got just me, Maxie, and George just out there doing work?
Well,
Imagine a team. It's a fictitious team for us. It doesn't have to be real people.
yeah, this is a theoretical that I'm throwing at you right now. But if you need help, imagine both of your neighbors and the people across the street. You've somehow convinced them to start
Well,
working out.
You have to put yourself in the position of who's on that team. If 20 years from now I'm coaching my son and I've got family out there or something, man, I'd be extremely proud. I as a coach, as just a bunch of random people, I don't know, man, I could get fired up. But I'm a horrible ass programmer, so if people followed my programming and made it to regionals, I would be like, damn, what did I do right?
Okay. He's taking it too seriously. Let's back up. So just imagine that you're a part of CrossFit K-Town.
Imagine it's like your best friends. It's us. It's us. We all get married and we decide, you know what, Knoxville's too much of the big city lifestyle. We want to move out to Maryville with Forrest, and we start training out of your CrossFit 2-for-2 gym in your garage. Max, and we're like, yeah, like 4:30 in the morning workouts, and Maxie yelling at us is like, that's what we want, that's what we need. And then we go to the games. How do you feel?
Dude, I'm stoked. I'm drinking beers. I'm smoking cigars. I'm stoked. I'm probably blowing my smoke in Castro's face.
So I mean, it's a big deal. Like the first year, for instance, that K-Town sent a team. I mean, we were a super small gym, so I know it's hard to think back to that day and age. I mean, that was, 5 years ago now?
I was still a relevant CrossFit athlete. I mean, that was a while ago.
I mean, that was a big deal when, especially, I mean, CrossFit was so brand new at that point, and, it hadn't been around, so the whole regionals idea was a big deal. So, I mean, just sending someone to regionals was a big deal. Imagine that team going on to the games. That's got to fire, your members up for sure. I mean, that without question, right? I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, I mean, you want to say how it affects your gym. I mean, like your membership, like, I think we had this talk before about like Ute CrossFit with Tommy Hackenbrook. They win 2 back-to-back, win the games 2 years back-to-back. All of a sudden, like, he's opening, I mean, he has like 4 locations now because like people have just come out of the woodwork like, hey, we want to be a part of this part of your gym, a part of this community, part of what's going on here. So from I don't want to say financial, but from like a community perspective as well, like that just like explodes your growth and like what you're able to do for your members. So
yeah, good results at the regional level is gonna breed it's gonna bring in talent that wants to be with a proven set of coaches or a proven set of athletes for sure, if that's what the person is looking for. So it's going to bring other athletes in. That's what you're saying, right?
What's more important?
Yeah. Or and too, I mean, even people who aren't interested in competing, but how do people find a CrossFit gym if they've never CrossFitted before? They Google and say, best gyms in my area, or they go on the game site and they say like, who's like one of the top, like what are the top gyms in my area wherever I live, and if they see like, oh, like this, they're gonna go to that one first. Not to say they're gonna actually end up signing up and staying there, but they're at least gonna get. I mean, that's probably gonna be the first place they go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could very well be. I think some of that is just kind of idiosyncrasies of kind of search engines and search engine optimization and stuff. But you're right. If they do their due diligence and take it the next step, go to the game site, check the leaderboard for past regionals and all that. That's a lot of front end work. So maybe I don't know if I'm willing to give you all of that, but yeah, I do think that it's a net positive.
Or word of mouth. Yeah. It helps. I mean, if they say, I mean, a lot of times you ask your friends, you say like, what's the best, like I heard you CrossFit, what are the gyms in the area, what are they known for? Oh, that one's, they're always going and competing and doing this and that, and like, the word gets out. It, internet, whether it's the internet, whether it's other people, whether it's Dave Parmley, it gets out there. What's
more important, having an individual athlete, like say Alex Anderson wins the games, versus CrossFit K-Town's team winning the games?
Well, that's the next question is, so, we've discussed what it would mean to send a team to the games. What would it mean for that team to win the games? Is it that much different for the people at home? Like, they're going to get jacked up just having a team go to the games. If they win the games, is it that much different? What changes? Anything?
Are you saying winning the games versus just? Are we still talking team? Or are we talking individual?
We're talking team. Yeah,
confused.
yeah, team winning the games versus just going to the games as a team.
I mean, I think that like going to the games versus winning the games, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of a difference, but as far as like your community and everything, like, yeah, obviously they're going to be super jacked up that you won the games, but it's like how it affects like your business and all that other stuff. I don't think it would be like that big of a difference, honestly. I think you're still going to have athletes coming and all that, all those other things. But I don't think, going to the games or winning the games, I don't think it's going to have a huge effect. Once you go to the games, I think that's just, that's kind of like crossing that barrier, so to speak. But that's just my impression.
No, I would agree. I mean, that's where the party is. Like, if you get a team that goes to the games, like, everybody's stoked. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, let's go to the games. Let's go support them. And, like, they roll. That high, the members of the gym are going to roll on because they, like, I shouldn't say they. If I can see that Grant is programming for a team and that he gets 6 people to the games, I'm like, oh, man, like, that's legit programming. But if he got Alex Anderson to the games, it's more of like, well, was it Grant's programming or was it the fact that Alex is just a freak? So, I mean, I'm looking at it from 2 different standpoints, I guess, on that. But.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you said there, Taylor, about I don't know if, from a community standpoint, if it's really that much bigger to win the games. I mean, people are going to get jacked up, and it's gonna change the atmosphere just qualifying for the games, and people are going to get behind the team and all of that. I think, and there's also a lot more build-up, right, to the games.
Right.
So if you win the games, I think things probably mellow out pretty quickly, honestly. I mean, maybe you're getting like the local news station in there or something like that, but you can still.
And this is all the team side though. That's
correct.
Getting a team though.
Correct. This is just team that I'm talking about. So yeah, I think that does mellow out pretty quickly. Whereas qualifying for the games, you've got that 2 or 2.5 month lead up. That's going to keep people excited and jacked up, and
yeah.
You can do a lot of events around that and everything. So, I'd love to have either happen or both happen. That's great, but yeah, I don't think it changes it too much to go from qualifying to the game for the games to winning the games as a team. I agree.
No.
Forrest, you wanted to maybe say a couple things about team versus individual. Like, how do you think that changes it, qualifying an individual to the games and then maybe that individual winning?
I still go with and this is, I guess, still a different argument. Team is more entertaining and would mean more of, like, if I was going to pick a gym, if I saw Grant Scalp gets Alex Anderson to win the games versus Grant Scalp getting CrossFit K-Town to win the games, I would look more into CrossFit K-Town winning the games because those are different athletes. All of them have I don't want to say disabilities, but there's certain movements. Like, if you can teach Brandon how to do handstand push-ups, that's impressive. Like, if you can take all those people and all their inadequacies and win the games with them, that speaks more volumes to me than you taking a genetic freak like Alex Anderson and winning the games with him.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say that we keep, bandying around my name and Alex Anderson's name. I don't have to do much of anything. Alex Anderson is the freak, so yeah, I throw some stuff on paper occasionally, and then he does it immaculately. So yeah, that's all Alex, anyways. And then same thing with the team. I mean, a good coach is going to let the kind of the spotlight shine on the athlete and on the team, anyways. And I like to think that I can do that to some extent, but yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is so little coach, and it is all athlete driven. I mean, just so many specimens that are at the games, whether it's team or individual. So yeah, no, interesting question. I like the thought process behind that.
Could you win the games with Brandon Bergen, Taylor, and myself as your male athletes?
Absolutely not.
Not in a million years. I would need some very specific programming coming out if that were to happen.
Could you qualify us for regionals?
For regionals?
Oh, yeah. Dude, we could get to regionals.
Yeah, I could get the 3 of you to regionals on the back of Brandon Bergen. He's the one that's going to do the most work for us on that. He's
That's because
he's
man,
an open athlete.
if they put handstand push-ups in open, bastards.
You know what? They just might next year.
Maybe.
Things
We'll
have
see.
evolved. So let's talk about surprises. So Cara Webb, and is it Cara or do we like to say Kara? Anyone want to correct me on that?
Are we in America or Australia?
We're all C's.
Cara.
They say Kara. They've been calling her Kara all the time, but I like Kara better. I feel like it's just right.
It softens it, certainly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna go with Cara because that's her given name. Taylor, don't be an asshat.
Yeah.
or an ass carrot.
We've always been so pro female on this podcast, so I will just continue with that tradition.
Well, the three of us have, but we finally got Caleb out of here. So I mean, now we've got the sexism's gone. I mean, now we can talk about the women all we want. So on the women's side of things, are you guys surprised at all at that leaderboard? I mean, I think it's safe to say the first few days you guys were probably very surprised, yeah?
I'm still surprised.
I'm surprised by who's in first. I'm surprised Camille's in first. I'm surprised she hasn't screwed up by now. But other than that, I mean, I feel like I'm surprised by the women's leaderboard, but at the same time, when I look at it, I'm like, man, I shouldn't be surprised. Like, Annie was never gonna win. I think Camille's pretty much locked it up at this point, minus some like real choking, like real bad choking, because she's ahead by like 90 points, and then Annie's in second. Who's in third?
Well, Cara Webb is currently in third with the 2 workouts to go today, but she has withdrawn, so she will drop.
Michelle Latond.
My girl Michelle. I don't think any of the people in the top 10 should surprise us. I mean, it's all people who've been real consistent the whole time. So I feel like I'm a little surprised, but it probably shouldn't be.
I mean,
Lauren Fisher is 10th. I did not know that she had moved up to that, so that does surprise me.
Yeah, she had some good finishes lately, like the clean speed ladder, which you would expect from her being a nationals caliber weightlifter. And then midline march, she did well on as well. So, I mean, you do have, that is a little surprising, right? You've got Lauren Fisher, you've got Lauren Brooks, both of them. This is their first time at the games.
I'm surprised by Lauren Brooks. I'm not really that surprised by Lauren Fisher. I mean, Lauren Fisher's been pretty consistent in that range of like 10 to 15 on pretty much everything. I mean, and she did really well in her regional behind Valerie Vobrel, who's been going to the games since I was 11 years old. So, I mean, that's legit in my book. I mean,
I'm surprised that old Julie Foucher's in 5th.
Yeah, I thought Julie would be higher up. But that's probably my biggest surprise, I guess.
I was. Fouché was within striking distance of third. I mean, easily third. So she's got a good chance for the podium. I like her on.
I thought she would. I just thought she would be within striking distance for the win. Is what I thought. Like, I didn't think she would be 5th. I thought she'd be 2nd or 3rd at this point and pushing for the top spot.
You know, I know she didn't legitimately take a full year off. Like, she was still doing stuff, but I mean, that at the rate of improvement of the athletes right now and the rate of like the evolution of the sport, man, taking a year off, that's going to set you back. That's going to set you so far back. And I'm surprised that she's this high.
Look at Annie. I mean, I think Annie has rehabbed her stuff, and I think her back is all better and everything, but I think if she hadn't been forced to take that year off, I mean, I don't think Camille would be anywhere close to Annie. I mean, like, Annie's dominated some workouts, but then, she's still like sort of behind the other athletes on some of them, and you can tell, like the muscle ups and stuff. The muscle up biathlon was a good example. So, I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. The things that Annie did less than well on are things that we've always known she's struggled with. I mean, she would be the first person to tell us that
Right.
that her muscle ups are weak, and she doesn't like stringing muscle ups together. So I mean, the running, the 333, we knew that would be a rough event for her. So, when we had the recording session with her a couple weeks ago in our dark period, she definitely said those were going to be rough events for her.
Those are the Storm in a Teacup black tapes. We'll release those in about 20 years.
Yeah, we're gonna
classified right now.
We're gonna roll those out. Probably in a time capsule at the next the next Selden event for anyone that reads Isaac Asimov Foundations. That's a little Easter egg that I just dropped in there for everyone, for all the geeks at home.
For anyone who wants to just expand their horizons in a really unrelated way to this podcast, Isaac Asimov.
Okay, so there's the women. We can check that box. What about the leaderboard for the men?
We did our time with the women. We pretended like that interested us, and now we can talk about the men's leaderboard.
You know what? To be perfectly honest, the women's competition until this year has probably been the more interesting competition because Rich Froning just always runs away with it.
Absolutely, and he's not running away with shit this year.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. The cluster at the top. I mean, I guess it's probably first through seventh. You're looking at an 80. Okay, pull it up.
Before you continue.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me just say, I told Matt Fraser and Tommy Hackenbrook right there. I told you so. That's all I have to say about that.
And I was the one that said Tommy Hackenbrook would beat Rich Froning this year. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but
it's possible.
It is possible. A lot would have to happen, though.
So I think Matt Fraser stands the best chance, and I kind of thought that all along. Like I think I think he could do. If anyone's going to catch Rich, I think it's going to be him. And Forrest and I were talking about this in the pre-show. AKA the fluffing period, and I think if the regionals taught us one thing when Rich went head to head with Panchik, it's that you can catch Rich at the end of a Metcon with faster rep turnover, and you really have to push it and kind of take a risk. And Panchik did that and was able to almost catch Rich on some of the workouts, and I think Fraser of the three, Fraser, Hackenbrook, and Froning, I think he's the one that would be able to turn those reps over a little bit faster with a little bit quicker range of motion.
Well, yeah, he's built for the sport, right? I mean, compared to Tommy Hackenbrook, it's just a world of difference.
But Hackenbrook is very surprising though. Like on the overhead squats, the pull-up overhead squat at regionals, he beat Fraser's time, he beat Rich's time, he turned those squats over so fast it was crazy. So I don't think you can ever count Tommy out, but on paper I think Fraser's the one that you want to keep an eye on.
I agree. Hackenbrook is a surprising athlete, but he has 7 inches on Fraser, and that's gonna. It might not bite him on the rope climb, heavy overhead squats, but 60 reps of 135 clean and jerks, that's a lot of range of motion to make up. So,
it's a lot of extra distance to move that barbell.
It is. Here's what's interesting. We're coming down. This is exactly what CrossFit wants, right? This is the spectacle. We're coming down to the final day, the final 2 workouts, which happen back to back. And Matthew Fraser from the Northeast, who we're talking about, is 10 points behind Froning. So that's basically 2 places spread out over 2 workouts. Very, very easily can turn that 10 points around and overtake Froning. So it's going to be a really fun and exciting final
Conclusion?
2 workouts. Yep. And
finish, as Forrest like to say.
We will wrap up the podcast well before that, but we will remain on Skype with each other to giggle like schoolgirls as they do their final workouts. But we got some time left. Let's talk Josh Bridges hanging on to 3rd. I don't know if he's really in contention. He's 39 points out from Rich. There needs to be some big swings on the
He's
final
not.
2 workouts. Yeah, I mean, and
He's not.
he's pretty far out from Frazier too. I think the battle now is for 3rd place on the podium. You've got Josh Bridges with 686, Tommy Hackenbrook 679, and Noah Olson at 677. And you could put Kalipa in the running there too at 664, but that's 20 points he'd have to make up. That's hard to do as well.
Yeah.
So
I think you got to go with Hack on this one.
I think I do too, but Bridges on the double grace, I think he could beat Hackenbrook on that. So it's a toss up for me.
He's going to DNF the first one though. He's going to cap it. I think that he is. 245 overhead squat is heavy.
I think Bridges is going to be real hurt by that 245 overhead squat. Like, I mean, I don't think he's going to get capped. I really don't, but no way he reps that out faster than Tommy Hackenbrook. If Josh Bridges beats Tommy Hackenbrook on the rope climb overhead squat, like, I will just quit commentating because I just don't see how that's physically possible. That's like double his body weight.
I don't even have Josh Bridges on my radar for the thick and quick, Taylor. Thick and quick. I think he's going to DNF it.
Come on, man.
I think it's between Hack and Noah, and if Noah can finish thick and quick, I think he's going to beat Tommy Hackenbrook because I think he'll beat him on double grace. He's got an engine. He's got a pretty good engine.
That's the question though, right? Like after what does the leaderboard look like after the rope climb overhead squat? Because Josh Bridges could easily be out of contention for that third. I mean, I don't think he will be, but it's possible if the overhead squat goes really poorly for him to just be completely out of contention for 3rd place after that workout. And then he would be a moot point, and then it would be Noah and Tommy for 3rd, or maybe even Kalipa's, sandwiched there in the middle somehow. And we know Kalipa will do well on the double grace. I mean,
he can cycle a barbell.
It won't be pretty. It'll be horrible to watch, and I hope to God they don't put the camera on him, but he will turn it over very quickly. I don't know. I wish they were doing something different instead of double grace, but so be it.
Yeah, I honestly, whenever
it feels like a cop out somehow.
Whenever Dave was announcing for that final event, they finished thick and quick. The first heat did. I thought that he was going to go 30 clean and jerks at 245. I thought that's what he was about to say.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have blown my mind. So no,
what if it was 30? What if it was double grace, but it was 30 clean and jerks at 270? What about that?
So you double the weight. I got you.
Yeah. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. You and your math. I know that Jess ran that on a calculator for you.
I'm sitting here for 10 seconds. I'm thinking like, why the hell did he say? Why the hell would you not just do 275? Oh, 135 times 2. I get it.
Okay, so I think we're all agreeing. All 3 of us are agreeing that Josh Bridges, after thick and quick, probably going to be out of the picture for the podium. I hope he surprises. I love Josh. Love seeing him compete. He's a heck of a competitor, but I don't see him.
He's been surprising thus far, though.
Well, here's the deal. Since last year, his big deal was he's been just doing heavy deadlifts over and over and over. Do you think after this year, if he bombs the overhead squats, this next year is going to be nothing but heavy overhead squats every week?
Probably.
Just going to have that fixation?
I mean, he already has. I mean, he's strong overhead. I mean, dude does handstand push-ups for days. Of course, Forrest does too, and his overhead position is terrible. So I don't know if that necessarily carries over. But, I mean, he's strong overhead. So I don't know. But they've been taxed. I mean, I guess, going back to the programming thing, like, so much has been overhead. Like, they've done, I mean, how many things have been overhead for this, for the workouts in these games? I mean, do we have a number on that? I mean, there's got to be at least like 5 or 6 like overhead walking lunges, strict handstand push-ups, the 1RM overhead squat. What else? I mean, yeah. What else are they gonna do overhead? I mean, that's like their shoulders are going to be smoked. So it's,
yeah. I mean, 7 of the 11 workouts, well, really 6 of the 11, I guess, if we're not going to say muscle ups, if we're talking strictly overhead, they've all involved something overhead, so more than half easily. So let's do this. Let's wrap it up, and this is how I want to wrap it up. I want to ask you guys to predict the double grace workout between Tommy and Noah. So we're going to say that Tommy Hackenbrook, Noah Olson, keep it close to each other on thick and quick, and they're going to still be vying for that third place position because Bridges is going to drop out. Tell me what other workout that they've done in the games thus far is the best analogy or is most like double grace, and then let's look at their placing.
Most analogous? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the analogous test. Which one do you think?
Man, Forrest, you go first. 'Cause I don't have to pull up the workouts. I don't even know
God,
what the workouts
man.
It's a double grace. I would say
The triple, or not the triple three, the
21-15-9.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you both at the same time. I was thinking that one as well.
Or the midline march, one of the two.
But I was also thinking the push-pull a little bit. I know that's not perfect. But
That's true.
I've got a gut feeling on the push-pull. But either way, on both of those, Noah beat Hackenbrook. One was close. I mean, the 21-15-9 was close. 7 seconds.
The only reason I won't agree with you on that is because it was strict handstand push-ups. If it was kipping, I would say you probably are right over Taylor and I. But strict handstand push-ups are just too different versus cleaning and jerking and getting that hip action in there.
No doubt. Like, the movements are different and you're getting that hip action. I guess that's more of a, once again, that's more of a gut feeling on like how this is going to shake out. Maybe we'll get Brandon to do a spreadsheet on this as well. I
think you also have to consider that those other workouts, while they are analogous in a sense, both of those have some significant gymnastics components that really favored Noah. This clean and jerk doesn't have any of that. So Tommy's not going to get slowed down at all by bar muscle ups or any of that crap.
Yeah,
They've been testing over and over again.
I also had a thought that I was going to say the sprint carry, just because, I mean, at this point, 135 clean and jerks, it's work. It's just get work done, and that's what the sprint carry was as well.
And, and in a very, while you're very out of breath and taxed, that's Tommy's jam, dude. That's all that guy does.
Yep.
Just do work.
I love that you said that because Jordan Troyan got capped on the double grace. So yeah, we all saw how well he did with the carry.
Wait, who won the carry? What was that?
No, remember Jordan Troyan dropping the bag? Well, he got capped on double grace. He's the only person I've seen get capped so far.
Oh yeah, well.
I love that you're shitting on Troyan so much for dropping it, but Forrest, I don't even know if you could pick up the 150-pound cylinder.
Guy, you would say the 150, the 120 I can, 150 it's probably not happening.
Is it sad that
I'm picking on him because he's a swimmer, like Brandon. I ain't got time for swimmers.
At least this.
Call me when Waterworld happens. That's when I've got time for swimmers.
You know how I know I'm an old man is they were doing that run, and I was like, man, I'm a big dude. I bet I could do well at that. And then I was like, man, my knees hurt just looking at this thing going down. I was like, man, I'm gonna sit down and not get up for a while.
I was thinking to myself, even if I had Taylor there to pick the 150 up and put it on my shoulder for me, I don't know if I could make it the length of the field without setting it down fresh.
Well, just watching them run with it,
because it's a fucking cylinder. If it's a sandbag, I think I can do it.
It was a flaccid cylinder. It was flaccid.
Cylinder.
It wasn't made out of metal. It was a flaccid cylinder. It wasn't.
Dude, it was a very heavy duty plastic, man. Come on.
But when they put it over their shoulder, you could see it bend. It wasn't
I didn't see it bend.
Yes, I did see it bend.
Yeah,
Grant, back me up on this.
That is true. It wasn't really a plastic. I mean, I don't want to say canvas. It's a smoother outer side, but it's
was
like
it latex?
I can't.
Forrest wouldn't be able to handle that.
I'm allergic to that stuff, dog.
It looked like Reardon metal to me.
Yeah.
For any of the Atlas Shrugged readers out there, there's another little Easter egg for everyone. On that note,
Get on Wikipedia
two
for that,
Easter eggs
guys.
in one episode. We gotta sign off. All right, guys. I can't wait to watch the remainder of the events. I'm glad that we have overcome the inertia of not recording with each other. The big excuse we were using early on was, hey, it was the World Cup. Give us this month. It only comes once every 4 years, but that's been finished now for the better part of 2 weeks.
So 365 days of me celebrating the German victory, 365 days of you guys having to hear about it, 365 days of me saying I told you so, Nate Schrader is not top tier. I'm out. I just dropped the mic. I'm out.
All right, well,
I hate you.
Forrest,
Yeah.
you suck.
Forrest?
I don't suck. Taylor sucks. He fucking cheered for Germany. Like, okay, let's just cheer for the country everybody hates.
You're just mad because we beat France again.
Get the
It felt so
fuck
good.
out.
All right, I guess
They us.
until next time. Bye-bye.
Hummel's place for Man U now. Bye-bye.